I suppose this is a follow-up to a recent video when we were talking about the SSA-821, which a client it was demanded of the client at a certain particular point in the beginning of the application process. And I was explaining how you kind of have to go with it, why it came, and why in her situation, it wasn't going to do her any help. But the intent was probably by the SSA to assist her in case she could have an earlier onset date. Anyway, now we have a demand for an 820. And by the way, 820 is it's like the sister form. 821 is for W-2 employees who worked as an employee versus 820, which is a person who worked but as self-employed. Now, this could be a consultant who gets a 1099 from a big corporation. It could be the guy that mows your lawn, and anything really in between. It's when we're not categorized as W-2, and we're not an employee. We are self-employed, so we are technically our own little small business. I know sometimes people who are unfamiliar with it, let's say they do something like Uber or Lyft, they don't understand that technically they are self-employed, and or also they are a sole proprietorship of their own business where they are the employee, and in that case probably the only employee. So okay, so fellow gets a demand for an 820, and the reason for this was, and this is again, the case is still at the, pardon me, I've got allergies and they're killing me. The case is still at the field office before it gets moved up to the DDS or the medical portion of the claim, which is usually at the state agency that has been outsourced to do the medical workup. But before it can even go that far, they need to know, and this happens to be an SSI person this time, not like the prior one. And if the person has been working since the alleged date of disability in a self-employed capacity as a driver for one of the rideshare companies, for instance, that income has to be considered. It would be considered regardless, I think, if it was SSI or SSD. But in this case, it's going to be even more critical because if the person is earning more than what SSI would allow for, he doesn't even have a claim to move forward. I mean, that's true with SSD as well, but hold on one second. I'm just going to have to take care of my little allergy. I'll be right back. Thank you. Is my nose red? Does it look like I just blew my nose? Yeah. Okay. 820, 821. So this person gets the 820 because he's doing what is technically self-employment, his own business as a rideshare driver for one of those major companies. And the point of it was, from our perspective, we needed to prove he was not working SGA when he was doing it for all the months he was doing it. If the person is only doing it in the same year as he's applying, such as 2023, there is no 1099 to show what he made in the whole capacity of it. And that would be revenue, not net income, of course, because what he gets to do is we have all of the deposits that were made from the company. I think it was weekly or biweekly. And when you add them up for each month, what is the amount? Are they over SGA? You know, in 2023, that's 1470. It will go up for 2024. If it is over SGA as a gross payout, the revenue that the company pays him, what about business expenses? So when he does later, so it's all estimates right now, right? Later on, he will be doing a tax return with a schedule of some sort for this kind of work. And, you know, you put your gross revenues down, like anytime you earn money mowing someone's lawn, for instance, you can do what they paid you minus the cost that you had to put into doing the lawn. That could be the cost of the lawnmower in theory, or part of it. It could be the gasoline you put into it. If you had to repair it, was there a repair cost that would go into this annual income derived from this particular line of work? Same idea with rideshare. You've got gasoline / mileage. And you might not have an exact figure on that, so estimates kind of might have to be made at this point. Also, generally a cell phone, a smart device, because that's how you get these jobs. You have to have one. So the person probably has some sort of monthly bill for that. So what we had to do was get all those incomes. And I think the rideshare platform lets you download your pay history, and we could figure out what he pulled in each month. And then you also subtract out what would be the monthly expenses to bring in that money that month. Cell phone bill, the gas mileage, you know. And I would say it's not necessarily going to be, you know, put into his taxes the same way. He might have had more in gas than he's, you know, the estimate can give. Right now it's an estimate because he doesn't have his tax preparer yet. We're not in 2024 yet in order to do 2023 taxes. So we put down the gross minus the expected net expenses. And while most of the months were not SGA even without those expenses, they were certainly under SGA with those expenses. And that is the crux of that particular request for the 820 from the SSA to him, was to find out if he was over SGA. Later on, it may or may not, I don't know, be used to determine if he has any TWP, trial work period months. But that's not our issue right now. It is getting him out of the field office where he can have a medical adjudication of his claim. So all important, because the other stuff can be figured out at a later date more exactly. Like he might have made less money than we thought, but that wouldn't change the result of that particular form's effect. Or he may decide he's not writing off some expense, or he's going to write off more expenses that, you know, we're not even thinking of. Maybe he has a home office. I don't know. In any event, that is what the 820 was about this time. It was about someone on SSI who has been doing a little gigging, and which many people do, because it's flexible. It can often work around their disabilities, and they can bring in a little extra cash that certainly helps out themselves or their family live a little more decently than having no income at all. So that's what that's for. And of course, we will be arguing that the amount is under SGA. I don't think it's going to be in dispute at all. There's not really any kind of battle here, but it's got to be documented and sent in, or else they can't get through that question and the case cannot go on to the medical workup. All right. So when you get these forms, know that there's a reason. Sometimes it's not very clear. Sometimes I have to do a little investigating to find out, because I'm like, why on earth? And then I usually figure it out. This one was very straightforward though. All righty. Take care, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye now. Okay, I lied. I'm back again just for 1 second to let you know that I'm putting down the SSA820, a link to the actual form on the SSA Gov site that you can download. And I think I'll throw down the SSA821 also. So in case you're curious about the two different ones, or if you find yourself watching the wrong video and then realizing you should have the other one, at least you'll see the proper form below. Okay. And you can also get those forms started before they are demanded of you if you know they're going to happen. So I think we might have a video on that. If not, I will try to get one out in the near future. Have a great one, guys. Bye.